and every story can change the world. Together we are Global Speakers Talk.
Hello, everyone. No matter where you are, it's me, business law attorney Matthew Fornaro. Good morning. It's 8 a.m. here on the East Coast, and I'm here to talk about issues that affect small businesses, entrepreneurs, and startups. So no matter where you are, it's pretty much the same set of issues that you're going to face and that affect you. So let's start at the beginning and go through the life cycle of your business. So before you start, one of the things you need to realize is that I know you're eager to get into business if you're a first-time entrepreneur or even an experienced entrepreneur. So one of the things you need to remember is you're not in it alone. There are a series of professionals out there who are here to help you with your business. So make sure that as part of your business process, your planning and everything that you do, make sure to consult with a business law attorney, make sure to consult with an accountant, and make sure you consult with a commercial banker, and make sure you consult with professionals in your particular space as to what it is you need to do, how to do it, etc. You focus on your business decisions, let them focus on the legal aspects, let them focus on the tax aspects, let them focus on the money aspects, and you focus on doing what you do best, which is make your business decisions. So with that mindset, the first thing you need to do is have a written business plan. The written business plan is essential to your business. It tells you the who, when, why, what, how, where of everything about your business. It tells what your business is going to be, what your business is going to do, where your business is going to be located, how you're going to make money, how you're going to spend money, how you're going to add people, how you're going to subtract people, how you're going to grow, how you're going to sell someday, how you're going to wind down if necessary. So you have to have a written business plan in place before you start anything, and your professionals will help you with your written business plan. If you have no idea what to do or anything, there's a lot of good apps out there. There's a lot of good reputable websites that can help you start with your written business plan. So once your written business plan is in place, you have to select what kind of business organization do you want to have? And this is no matter where you are in the world, there's always different kinds of business organizations that you can choose that you want your business to be. So generally speaking, here in Florida, in the United States, you have your choices of a corporation, an LLC, which is a limited liability company, a partnership, a limited liability partnership, a solo proprietorship, and a couple other entities. So what is right for you? The answer is it depends. There's no one size that fits all solution. You need to figure out your own economic circumstances and your own business goals and your interrelated things. If you have other businesses, if you have money that has to do certain things, or you have certain economic situations or certain assets that need protecting. So this is when you go to your accountant and you go to your business law attorney and you lay it all out, you discuss everything, you present your written business plan that you already have, and you figure out and finalize what your business structure and your business organization is going to be. So you need to figure it out, go over it, vet it, make sure it's right for you, make sure your accountant approves it, make sure your attorney approves it, make sure your banker approves it, and then pick your business organization. So the next step after you pick your business organization is just like you have a written business plan in place. Now you have to have your governing documents in place for whatever business organization you pick. You can't just jump in and say, I'm going to be a corporation, or I'm going to be an LLC, or I'm going to be a partnership. You need to draft and have your professionals, particularly this time your business law attorney, go over your governing document. So if you're a corporation, you're going to need bylaws and articles of incorporation. If you're an LLC, you're going to need a management agreement. If you're a partnership, you're going to need a partnership agreement. If you're a sole proprietorship, you're going to need a document that governs that as well. And if you're any other kind of business organization, you're going to need a document to govern that. So your attorney will help you draft the correct business documents that go with your business organization, that spell out all of your rights, all of your obligations, all of the different aspects that need to be in the business organization in order to make it successful, no matter where you are. So your attorney will be very well versed in this. If you have a reputable business law attorney, make sure that you have everything that you want in your governing documents. Make sure there's nothing missing. Make sure that it applies to your jurisdiction. Make sure that you go over it with your attorney and refine it, and make sure that you have the best possible document in place. So once the document's in place, then you're going to go to your local jurisdiction that governs your business organizations. Here in the United States, it would be your local state. So I'm in the state of Florida. So we would go to the Florida Secretary of State website called SunBiz, and we would register my business, whether it's a corporation, an LLC, a partnership, a sole proprietorship, whatever it is. So then we would register it online. We would make sure that nobody has the name. You always have to make sure you have a specific name for your business organization that nobody else has in your jurisdiction. And then we would go fill out the online paperwork, register it online, and then upload or send in, depending on the circumstances, our governing documents that we drafted, that we put in place. And then once the approval process is complete, the business is alive, the business is active. So what happens after the business is active? The next step is, here in the US at least, you want to get an EIN, which is your identification number from the IRS, which gives your entity, no matter what kind of entity it is, its own tax identity. So it's very easy. You do it online. Once you have your business organization registered, you go and get your tax number. It's very similar in other jurisdictions, but your specific countries or your specific jurisdictions may vary. But in the US, you just go online to the irs.gov, get your EIN number, do your form election, and then you get your tax number. So now you're in business. What do you do next? Well, you make sure that you comply with all business formalities. Remember, this is not a side hustle. This is not a hobby. This is your primary means of, how you spend your time, how you make your money. So you make sure you run everything as formally as possible. Make sure you comply with all laws. Make sure you do everything that's required under the law. You have annual minutes. You keep corporate records. You have a separate corporate bank account. You don't mix your bank account with your personal bank account. You don't mix email addresses. You have your own separate corporate email address. You make sure you have your own separate corporate records, and make sure everything is distinct from you personally, so that you have the protection of your business organization, as opposed to just kind of being intertwined with your business and being your business's alter ego. So you need to make sure everything is objectively and uniformly done at all times. You don't make any exceptions. You don't slide sometimes. You don't, take shortcuts. You make sure that everything is run completely and efficiently at all times. The other thing you need to do is that anytime that you have a relationship between your business organization and another person or another business organization, you want to make sure that it is governed by a written contract. You don't just want a handshake. You just don't want to take someone's word for it. You just don't want an email back and forth to say, let's do it, we're done. You want a written contract that you have your business law attorney help you with. that governs the relationship between you and the other person or the other entity. So what does that mean? That means if you have an employee, you have an employment contract. If you have an independent contractor, you have an independent contractor contract. If you buy things, you make sure you have a contract for it. If you sell things, you make sure you have a contract for it. If you lease commercial space, you make sure you have a contract for it. If you rent commercial space to someone else, make sure you have a contract for it. So every interaction you have with someone else, you have a contract. And it's not necessarily just handing someone some papers and say, here, review it and sign. You can integrate your contract into your business practice very easily. You just make it as part of, if you have a website or social media or anything, you have it part of your terms of service where the other side has to check off that they read it and they agree. You can have it as part of your invoice where the other side has to acknowledge, whether in regular writing or electronic signature, that they've read and understand the terms. You can have it as part of an email where they have to respond that they accept, not a casual email, a formal email that says they respond and accept. You can have it as part of an app. You can have it as part of your social media. So just make sure you have it, because the contract governs your relationship and says, just like your governing documents say everything about the internal process of your business, the contract says your external process of how you interact with others, who does what, who pays what happens when there's a problem, how that problem is resolved, and things of that nature. So you always want to make sure that you have a written contract. And then the other thing with business is that it's ongoing and changing. So make sure that you always continuously stay in touch with your professionals to update your business, make sure you're updated on the law, make sure you're updated on taxes, make sure you're updated on banking issues, make sure that your business plan always evolves over time and changes when you do. Anytime there's a major change, update your business plan. Anytime that there's an addition, a subtraction, whatever, update your business plan. The same thing with your governing documents. Make sure you always update them when there's a major or even significant event in your business. If you add someone, if you subtract someone, if you change locations, if you sell off, if you buy things, make sure you update everything. And then make sure that you're always in communication with your professionals regarding any major questions, challenges, issues, or whatever. Make sure you're in touch with them. They're there to help you. Be as proactive as possible. Be as preventive as possible. Have regular meetings with them. Meet with them monthly, quarterly, semi-annually, annually, but just meet with them and make sure they're always updated on what's going on with your business, so that in turn they can update all of your documents to make sure that they're in place and they're correct. So last issue we'll address is, how do you find a professional? Well, if you already have a professional, great. Have them recommend, if you have an accountant, have them recommend a business law attorney, or have them recommend a commercial banker, or have them recommend, if you're into the internet or whatever, have them recommend, people who focus on that. If you don't have a professional or a group of professionals in place, ask another business owner who you know or trust about who they use as a business law attorney, or who they use as an accountant, or who they use for social media, or who they use as a banker. Because businesses will be the ultimate authority or source, particularly in your locality where you're located, of who the best professionals are. So they will gladly help you. Most entrepreneurs and most businesses want to help each other. You're not in it alone. They'll gladly help you, just like the professionals will. Even people in your own business or your own space, they don't really want to see you fail. They want to see you succeed. So you can even reach out to people who you think are your rivals or are your competition in business, and just ask them friendly advice. Say, I really like your restaurant, or I really like your concept. I want to get into it. Can you give me some pointers? Can you give me some tips if possible? Or ask someone in a different business area who you think is successful. There's a restaurant you go to, ask the owner of the restaurant, what do they do for, what did they do to be successful? Who are their professionals? Who are their sources? What ideas do they have? And generally speaking, if you listen to and follow all that information, you should be fine as a business owner or entrepreneur. And thank you for your time. I'm Matthew Fornaro, business law attorney.
Together we are global speakers talk.